Hello, hello, hello. Happy New Year. Yes, I'm saying that I usually try to make this show very evergreen so that when you go back and watch it. However, this is the first episode of a new year, and I want to mark that because this is a new journey we're embarking on as individuals and collectively. Welcome to today's show. I'm Dr. Helen, founder and CEO. That's Chief Engagement Officer of Dr. Helen Holton and Associates, and the very special your host for Dr. Helen Speaks: Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership. I want you to consider something that I've been thinking about and it's been weighing heavy on my mind, and that is shortening the name of this show. We don't have to discuss it today, but it's in my mind. Strengths, resilience, and leadership. It's always going to be about that. But there are other ways in which to wrap that up that would be more meaningful and expansive, because this is our year of growth. It is what we really want to have happen because of you. And I appreciate the phone calls, the emails, the salutations I received over the holiday break, where you all called into me to say thank you. I just want you to know how that touched my heart and humbled me and falls right in line with where we're going for today's show. And I'm going to get to that in a minute, because I just want to say it is so good to be with you again. I value you. I show up here because of you. It's your presence, contribution, and desires to take your leadership to the next level. Your sharing, suggestions, and support influence the programming we bring to you each week. So keep sending us notes, text messages, emails. Go to my website. If you can't or don't want to figure out how to get to me, the easiest, just go to my website, drhelenholton.com, and hit the contact tab and send me a note that way. However, let's really stay connected on purpose this year. You can find me on LinkedIn under Dr. Helen Holton. However you find me, because I'm looking for you as well. Weekly, our purpose is to serve you as we discuss, explore, and unpack new and varied ways for you to level up your leadership. Did you know that the most effective leaders are lifelong learners? When I first learned that, it was like, lifelong learners. I think I'm finishing up with school. And then I realized lifelong learning is not always in a structured format of going to a school or a program, though they do qualify. Lifelong learning is as simple as, do you read the paper every day or a magazine? And I don't, some of us still read newsprint papers. However, I do more of my news reading right on my app, which makes it really, really, really very convenient. I'm just going to be truthful with you. It means that no matter where I am, I can still connect and stay in touch with what's going on in the world. And these days, that matters more than anything. I was watching football last night. Yes, I'm a football fan. Pro versus college, too many teams to keep up with at college football, but there are enough in the NFL to keep up with. And it really disturbed me in many ways. It began with a member of the Buffalo Bills, his name escapes me at the moment, who after a tackle stood up and fell out on the field. Now, that's not as disturbing as the chain of events that took place after that. The paramedics came out. For 9 minutes, they were giving him CPR on the field. And the tagline at the bottom of the TV just said, game suspended, delayed, something, whatever. It wasn't there's not going to be a game, which it should have been, just to see the emotion of the players on the field and the reaction to what was going on. And that player, 24 years old, is in the hospital in critical condition, had a heart attack. At least that's what the media is telling us today. It brought to my mind, out of the context of which I live life, as a part of the non-dominant culture, as a woman, as a Black woman, and what I know about life in America and the conscious and unconscious perspective of what it means to live steeped in white supremacy. There, I've said it. Because as people stayed in their seats in the stands, the majority of them making up the dominant culture, I kept saying, why are the people still there? Do they think the other players are going to come out on the field and play football after what has just taken place? Now, I want to give credit to the NFL for ultimately postponing the game. However, it takes me to that place of what we're really about and what our series is about right now. We've been talking about leadership and love. And today we're going to talk about leadership, love, and selfless. In other words, being unselfish. And last night was a portrayal of selfishness. It was a portrayal of money, wealth. It was a portrayal of, okay, so we'll just get some more. As a woman of faith and have studied theology, that had me study history a little closer, the image that came to mind for me, and it was interesting when I was in Greece and seeing the Colosseum or the remains of it. And there was a time that prisoners or poor people were put inside the Colosseum to battle one another until the death. As the people in the stands, mainly the wealthy, because the poor people couldn't afford to be in there, cheered on one person or another. So barbaric. Yeah, as you can see, yes, I am moved by the events in a new year, in modern time, when we really should be looking at how do we become more loving to one another. Now, to the NFL's credit, they did postpone the game and gave the okay for the people to leave their seats in the stands. I don't know how anyone could sit there and expect to wait to watch everyone else come out and play a game. And the replays of what took place. No, there was something wrong with that. And it just said to me, how unselfish, how uncaring, how unloving for people to stay there with the hopes of being entertained. Back to my point of why we come together to help leaders level up their leadership, because there is a different way of doing it than what I saw displayed for the most part last night. Did you know that the most effective leaders are lifelong learners? And I know I'm being redundant, but I need to say it again, because we need to learn from everything that we see, participate in life, read, hear, and think about it in a way of love. Yes. And so we offer here at Dr. Helen Speaks the opportunity for continual learning and growth as a leader. And what we know is that when you learn new and different ways to leverage your strengths, navigate weaknesses, and build resilience, you're in a better position to be a good leader, a great leader, and able to withstand the hiccups and upsets of life. Yeah. Your strengths, the best of who you are, those things that come natural to you by nature and nurture, help you determine a path and how you get to let your light so shine before the world. And navigating weaknesses. I've learned in this life through study and by practice that your weaknesses will never become your most dominant strengths. You may have to step into them. Like I tried so hard for the last couple of days when my system crashed and it's still not up and functioning properly, but I knew I needed to show up here for you today because that's what selfless leaders do. Understand this, it's not about me. It's really about you. And I'm showing up here for you to make a difference. And the other thing that gets me showing up, and if I hadn't told you where I am with all of this, you would not know, but it's important for you to see what it means to persevere and push through life's distractions and derailers. And that's with resilience. Resilience makes the difference. You see, resilience is a power that helps you to move through for a moment, for a period of time, and for your life, because those things that look and seek to tear you down will keep coming up in different ways, in different forms, but you won't get rid of them. It's a part of life. It's a part of our imperfection as human beings. Not something to be ignored, but something to say, let me equip and prepare myself to move forward beyond what that says. Yes. So that's why we come here, to keep you moving forward, to equip, empower, and elevate you on your journey towards more success. I'm clear that if you did not want to be more successful in what you're doing, you wouldn't show up here. And even if you walk away with one solid piece of, aha, oh, yes, I can take that and weave it into this other thing I have going on. The value. I value you, and that's why I do this every week. I research and study and incorporate in with other pieces of intellect and knowledge and learning that I've gained to bring it to you so that you might see things a little different. So, what does success look like? How do you measure it? Here are 3 clear ways to measure success. And it's important that you know this because you can go through behaving and acting in a certain way, and you might think it's successful or adding to your success, but you need a measurement mark for that. Now you get to decide what that is, but here are 3 clear ways that you can ascertain what that is for you. And number 1 is an improvement in your performance. And if you lead a team, it's not just your performance, but that of your team. And how are you pouring into them to equip and empower them to be more than they are? Improvement in performance. Number 2, an increase in productivity. Whatever it is that you are producing, a good, hard, solid product like ink pens or widgets or what have you, or maybe it's your earned expertise that's a service. I'm a coach. How do I look at an increase in productivity? New clients, sustaining clients, returning clients, referral from clients. Yes, an increase in productivity. And lastly, a growth in prosperity potential. It's a new year. It's a time to look at what was our performance like over the past year. And if your fiscal year, you may not be doing it now, but at some point that fiscal year comes to an end. And you want to look back and see overall, how well did I do in relation to the prior year? And it helps to shape where you're going to go in the next year. That matters too, an increase in your prosperity potential, which isn't always marked by the numbers on a piece of paper. Yeah, that's the CPA in me. Yes, we look at the numbers. Did we earn more this year than last year? How's it going to shape what we want to earn the next year? Are we looking at gross revenue or net revenue? Whatever the case may be, it's another way for you to measure and determine, have we achieved more success? Whew. Yes. So at Dr. Helen Holton and Associates, we use an innovative, holistic, head, heart centric. Yes, I love the circles because it's all encompassing. A head, heart centric approach to coaching, focused on helping you achieve more success, less stress, and greater joy in life. So our work with you really lives in the space of professional development and personal growth, anchored in diversity and inclusion, two very important elements, and both of them, in addition to equity, are wrapped around culture. And so what I experienced last night was a culture different from the one in which I'm accustomed to showing up in, one that is caring, one that is marked by loving others. And understand this, it's very difficult to love others when you don't love yourself. And this is where self-care shows up. How are you loving on you to make a difference in your life and what you're seeking to achieve? The legacy you want to leave for your children, those who work for you, your community, the world. Are you doing it through love or something else? Research continues to recognize and affirm the value-added influence of these behaviors, attitudes, and ways of being, and how they contribute to you becoming your best you. I love Michelle Obama's term of becoming. Yes, because as long as we have breath in our body, we are still becoming the greatest that we can be to the world. And it begins by wanting to be great. For me, being great, that God may bless me to continue doing what I do in a way that helps you become your very best. And so our focus this week that I want you to reflect on is leadership, love, and selflessness, or unselfish. They're both the same thing. I toyed back and forth with which was I going to use. I'm going to use them both interchangeably because they really address the same thing. However, I'm taking this whole series from my favorite book on the planet, bar none, is the Bible. Coming from the book of 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, verses 4 through 7. And it is in verse 5 that it tells us that love is not self-seeking. I don't do this because I'm looking to gain accolades for what I do. I do it because when you gain more of who you are and finding new ways to show up in your own greatness because of something you've heard or read that I've got out in the world, oh my goodness. Oh, that to me is the greatest joy. It really is. I'm always looking at what other leaders have to say, and pretty soon I'm going to come out with my own sayings about what's really important and how we maneuver this thing called life. Yes. And I want to share words of Tony Robbins, who said, "Only those who have learned the power of sincere and selfless contribution experience life's deepest joy, true fulfillment." Just think about that for a minute. When you really are showing up for someone else other than yourself, and you get to experience and witness the joy it brings to them, Oh my goodness, how can it not bring joy to you and what you do? And I've come to realize, I realize it most in moments when I just feel like, oh, I can't do this anymore. This is just too much. And yet I feel not the burden, but the blessing of responsibility to keep doing it. You see, God gives each and every one of us something for us to bring to the world in a loving way that demonstrates what it means to be a leader. If you don't know, I will let you know that I'm a big fan of John Maxwell. And that's someone that I look to determine, how do I best show up as a leader for you? And John Maxwell said, effective leaders don't gather things just for themselves. They do it in order to give it to others. So the time and effort I pour into showing up for you here every week is that you would grab, if nothing more than a glimmer of what it means to be in that space of selflessness, to be unselfish with what you've been given, your talents, your truths, your treasures that you hold. When you give them away to others, it doesn't diminish you, not in the least bit. Find time to give back to others because it matters. It matters. And what we're doing in this series is really equipping you with building blocks to keep going and finding new ways or modifying some of the ways in which you're already doing that which adds value. When you are unselfish with the gifts you've been given, it doesn't take away from you, it adds to you. It strengthens your leadership. It helps you to be more of what you were created to be. Yes, because you are all of that. You really are. And so how you bring it all together is by having a community that supports you, that encourages you. We all have moments when we need to reach out to our community to figure out what it is we need to be doing and how we're going to best do it. That's right. We don't always know all the answers. And it's not about you knowing all the answers at all. How do you make all of this happen? And in a way that you're not so concerned about what people will say about you, but the people who follow you, the people who you lead, that they're feeling empowered, that they're feeling they have the opportunity to do and be the best of who they are. My personal commitment to you is to help you bring your best self, your A game for the world to experience. That's why I love showing up here to connect and engage with you and to help you really take this to a deeper level to be all that you can be. So as a strengths, resilience, and leadership coach, as an executive coach, a consultant, a trainer, all those things, I don't have it all figured out. I don't. Just like you, I'm a work in progress. And I don't always hit the mark that I set for myself. And when I don't, it doesn't bring me down. It makes me go back and look over what I've done and look at how can I do it better? So we're at the beginning of a new year, and I want to throw this out to you. It started hitting my spirit about a month ago. And I'd heard of it before. I never stopped to take the time to figure out what it was. And then one of my coaches and mentors said to me, I'm going to send you this book. And he started telling me all about it. It's called One Word That'll change your life, something like that. And then as I began, have you ever had something creep into your consciousness? And once it did, you started hearing it and seeing it all around. That's how one word hit me. And believe it or not, I'd already decided to do that for my life. I want you to consider that. One word. And I was so excited about it as I was waiting for one of my mentors to send it to me, and it didn't come. I said, oh, let me just go check it out on Amazon. Whoop, there it was. It's a quick, easy read. I read the book, the whole book. I downloaded it on Kindle. I have it on Audible, and I was able to, wherever I was, just keep reading, because the more I read, it's like, no, I don't want to stop and put this down. And it even tells you, you could probably do this in one sitting. And I did it in one sitting and was like, yeah, I got to do this. So in this new year, what's the one word, not two words, not a sentence, one word that you can embrace and embody to help take your leadership to the next level in an unselfish way, in a way that will help you be more of who you are, to equip and empower others to step into the best of who they are. Because what I know is that none of us are born as great leaders, not even good leaders. I even question, are we born as leaders, or is it something we build and develop throughout our lives? If that's what we know we aspire to. Everything in life rises and falls on leadership. The world becomes a better place when people become better leaders. That is a John Maxwell quote. And those words continue to keep me humble. They keep me honest with myself and what I'm doing, and doing the things to help leaders like you develop yourselves so that you are better equipped to develop those you lead or who follow you. Because everyone who follows you is not someone that you lead directly through what you do in life as a career or profession. They could be people you're just engaged with and have relationship with. Yeah. And when you become a better leader, it positions you to do the same for the people who follow you. That's real empowerment. It's a learned truth that if you aren't learning from other leaders who know more than you, how well equipped are you as a leader? How do you get to become that lifelong learner if you aren't learning? What do you do to continually grow and develop your leadership? I know if you're here at Dr. Helen Speaks, that's one thing. But when you think about a couple other things you do, that really doesn't take that much time or effort. What keeps you moving forward from here to what's next? Dr. Helen Speaks. We're here to ignite your spark and fuel your flame, to think, be, and do more. Write that down. TBD. Think, be, do. More of it. More of who you are. To get more of what you really want for your life as a leader. Catch our show live on the Win-Win Women TV network every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time and 1 p.m. Eastern time. Replays are also available here and on Roku TV, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. And in this first quarter, we're going to have every episode of Dr. Helen Speaks on our YouTube channel. How about that? And we're doing it for you because you matter. And we show up here for you every week to help you become the best leader that you can possibly be. I'm Dr. Helen Holton. Keep coming back. Share it with your friends. Don't keep it a secret. Spread the word. There's plenty for us all.